Senhor, fazei-me instrumento de vossa paz. Onde houver ódio, que eu leve o amor. Onde houver ofensa, que eu leve o perdão. Onde houver discórdia, que eu leve a união. Onde houver dúvida, que eu leve a fé. Onde houver erro, que eu leve a verdade. Onde houver desespero, que eu leve a esperança. Onde houver tristeza, que eu leve a alegria. Onde houver trevas, que eu leve a luz. Ó Mestre, fazei que eu procure mais consolar que ser consolado, compreender que ser compreendido, amar que ser amado, pois é dando que se recebe.
Good evening, Ponto de Luz. So nice to be here tonight together. And I'm so grateful for the song that we were listening. I was here listening to St. Francis prayer with you, of course. Thank you, Gustavo. That was a beautiful surprise. Today, we're going to start with the question 137. This is we are in a part of the Spirit's book that is very interesting, continuing the study of the soul. But before we do it, let's start with our prayer. Dear God, thank you for bringing us together, Lord. Thank you for bringing us together in good health, in the hope that the time we spend together, we're bringing light to humanity. 2 or more people reunited. We know the blessings. May the Lord be with us tonight. May every single home that is now listening to us receive the healing. And the spirits, our protector spirits, good spirits, watch over us. And with your permission, Lord, we start the study of tonight. So be it. Thank you for leaving the names for prayer. Last time we did the prayer on all the names. So if you have someone that needs prayers, that is in the hospital or just recovering at home, or please leave the names on the chat and we will do the prayers for the ones. And you can always share recovery, right? We want to hear if the person is recovering well. Please share with us. We're here to study together, but we're here to pray together as well. Question 137. Can the same spirit incarnate into 2 different bodies at the same time? I guess we all know the answer using our common sense, right? So, can the same spirit incarnate into 2 different bodies? 1 spirit for 2 bodies. Do you think it's possible? No. The answer is no. The spirit is indivisible and cannot animate 2 different beings at the same time. It's 1 per 1, okay? 1 body, 1 spirit. And then there is a little parenthesis, a little information between the parentheses. That's very important because we know, and it's so funny because we were just talking about that on the Spirit's book in Portuguese. reading it about how this the study of the Spirit's book, because it was the first, brings so much knowledge about mediums and about the phenomena of mediumship and all that. So it brings the initial information, and then the information is in more details and in more depth on the medium's book. Question 137 brings that. It brings between parentheses the following: see the chapters on bicorporeality and transfiguration in the medium's book. So when Kardec asked the spirits if um, one spirit could be divided into two bodies, the spirits say no. The spirit is indivisible. One spirit, one body. But gives the information on how to remit that information and get more knowledge about it using the medium's book, Bicorporeality and Transfiguration. So those are two great things to learn about transfiguration and bicorporeality. But answering question 137, the answer is no. So the spirit is indivisible. But yes, I really do recommend that for the one that wants to understand about mediumship, about how the different types of mediumship are and how they happen, the faculties that are encompassed by, the communication between the two worlds, absolutely. Take a closer look at the medium's book. Question 138. What about the opinion of those who regard the soul as being the principle of material life? We have seen an answer. I'm going to read the answer, but we have seen an answer like that in many questions before. So, what the spirits are going to say to Kardec is just like about the usage of the language, answering question 138. So, let's read it together. First, the question again. What about the opinion of those who regard the soul as being the principle of material life? So the soul would be the principle that would be the beginning of material life. And then the answer that the spirits give to Kardec is, it doesn't matter to us, since it is only a question of words. Start by trying to understand each other. The definition of soul, we know it's on question 134. What is soul? An incarnate spirit, right? Spirit, when it's not within the physical body, not united to the physical body, and soul when it is. But then again, we use both words to represent the same thing. So this is what the spirits are trying to say to Kardec. It really doesn't matter. It's just a matter of words. And then he continues. He pushes it further on question 139. But certain spirits and certain philosophers before them have defined the soul as being an animated spark that has emanated from the great whole. It's a beautiful, right? It's almost poetic. So the soul being an animated spark that has emanated from the great whole. Why the contradiction? So question 139 actually is a clarification of question 138. And then there's the answer. There is no contradiction. Everything depends on the meaning of the words, which is exactly the same. Why don't you have one word for each thing? So the spirits are just saying that words, and look, we know that the languages are rich in nouns and things that and adjectives and things that characterize multiple things depending on the way they are used in a sentence, right? We know that. But in this case, what Kardec was trying to do is to clarify a concept, to understand the idea. So this is why after the answer 139, there is the little part that is added by Kardec to explain the answer. So this is what is in this is perfect because it really does explain that it's a matter of using the words figuratively. So when you say it's a spark from the great whole, it's a figure of speech. It's a way of representing. And to me, it's so pretty that when we think about the soul as being the spark um, emanated from the great whole, it's beautiful. It's poetic, right? And that's what Kardec is going to explain here. The word soul is used to express very different things. Some call the soul the principle of life. And in this sense, it is correct to figuratively state, listen, this is the word, figuratively state that the soul is an animated spark that has emanated from the great whole. These last two words, great whole, refer to the universal source of the vital principle. So, um, this is the understanding. So, the soul would come from as an emanation of the universal source of the vital principle, of which each being absorbs a portion and which returns to the whole after death. This does not absolutely exclude the idea of a moral being that is distinct and independent of matter, and who preserves its own individuality. So when we understand that, it's very interesting to think about the concept. If you understand it figuratively, perfect. This is what Kardec says, the spirit's answer, and Kardec explains. What is important here, it's not to lose the idea that when we cross over, when we are not with the physical body anymore, or living the experience in the physical world, we're not going to lose our personalities. The spirit will remain with its individuality. This is what we understand, and this is clear. Even in the introduction of the Spirit's book, we have that concept very, very clear about the nature of the soul. So, question 139 brings that, but not for us to get confused and thinking that, oh, then we would come to be absorbed by the great whole of. No, absolutely not. Teresa leaves the body, crossover, not with the physical body anymore. The personality remains. The individuality remains. I should not even say the personality, because the personality will change in the different let's say next life. It will be a different personality, not the same one, but the spirit is going through different learning experiences. Progress is made, so the next one will be better than this one, but it remains and retains its individuality. Okay, so this is one thing that we should not get confused about. And it's very clear and very well explained in the introduction of the Spirit's book as well, which contains the very first um, definition of soul of every single book of the codification, because the Spirit's book was the first, and it was in the introduction of the Spirit's book. So that is the original, the very first one. And in that part, we have the comprehension of what is this. Okay, so very good question to elaborate on, reading before the introduction. That's why when we study the Spirit's book, it's always good to read it in order, because a concept that you're going to get back there is going to help you go further down when you go progress with your studies. So let's continue. It is this being that is also called the soul. And according to this meaning, one could say that the soul is an incarnate spirit. That's the question, the answer to the question 134. Giving different definitions to the soul, the spirits have spoken according to their usages of the word and according to their terrestrial ideas, with which they were more or less imbued. Because human language does not have one term for each idea and is therefore inefficient, a large number of misunderstandings and arguments are the result. Hence, the reason why the high order spirits tell us that we should first of all try to understand each other regarding the words we use. So, very good. And even going further on the questions on this specific part, the spirits are going to tell Kardec when he questions, so how come I received a different definition from a different spirit? Well, they don't know. Different when we are in the spiritual realm, when we're not within in the physical body, it doesn't happen like magic that we become wise or we get all the, no, we get that through our own enlightenment, through many 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 lives. So it's not like when I when I am not here anymore, I get to the other side or the spiritual world and I'm like, oh my God, now I'm Einstein. No, it doesn't happen like that. It's all effort, discipline, compromising on the things that you shouldn't do in order to become the person you want to be. Very important. Whenever you want to achieve something in life, you don't want to do only the things that are pleasant on the right here, right now. You have to understand that there is compromise when you get married, right? It's not going to be only the places that you want to go or the TV shows that you want to watch or something. You have to compromise with your partner, with your wife, with your husband, so both can share. And in life, it's like that. So going back to the question, so this is what happens. Everything that we want to accomplish goes through the road of perseverance, discipline, 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 right? It gets to a point that we think twice. Should I say this? Should I do this? How is that going to impact the life that I want to live in the 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or the life that I want to live when I'm no longer in the physical body? Think about it, right? Choice, free will. We're here to also understand that everything we're doing, studying, praying, it has an objective, it has a purpose. The purpose is for us to become better humans. Better humans. And it doesn't happen like this. Again, it is a process. And we carry with us what we built here. And I will never cease to say that, because this is what we're here for. We're here to understand with the heart, with the mind, and practice. Because if we don't put it into practice, then, right, we have to make an effort. Question 140. What about the theory that the soul is subdivided into as many parts as there are muscles. This is the question where the spirits are going to say to Kardec, well, whoever gave you the answer didn't know the answer. It's amazing. So, what about the theory that the soul is subdivided into as many parts as there are muscles, thus presiding over each of the bodily functions? So, let's imagine that every part of the body, every organ would have a different soul, subdivided. Does it seem logical to you? No, right? So, this is the concept of radiating. The soul is one, the spirit is one, not divided. But Kardec is going to have the explanation from the spirits that there is a different concept within that question. Okay, so we're going to study that. This also depends on the meaning attributed to the word soul. This definition is correct if by it we mean the vital fluid, but it is incorrect if we mean an incarnate spirit. You got it? So, if we consider the vital fluid, okay, and we're going to explain that. But if we consider the spirit itself, no. We got the answer before, not divided. We have already stated that a spirit is indivisible. So it's reiterating the answer is the same. Didn't change from 2 before. The spirit is indivisible. It transmits movement to the organs through the intermediary fluid without dividing itself up. Got it? One spirit transmits movement, right? The heart beats, your lungs breathe, movement to the organs through the intermediary fluid without being divided. And then comes the question within the question. Nevertheless, there are spirits who have given this definition. I love it. I love it. It's like, okay, but then again, I got that answer from some spirit. And then look at the answer that the spirits are going to give Kardec. Ignorant spirits may take the effect for the cause. You gotta love it. I read this and I'm like, oh my goodness, that can't be more direct, right? Ignorant spirits may take the effect for the cause. So basically, they're saying, yeah, well, they didn't know well. And then Kardec gives a little explanation to that. The soul acts through the organs, which are animated by the vital fluid. So every organ is animated with the vital fluid distributed among them, and it acts more abundantly in those that comprise the centers or focal points of movement. So the centers or focal points of movement, they would have a bigger share of vital fluid. That's what does it say here. This explanation, however, cannot be applied to the soul as the spirit which inhabits the body during life and which leaves it at death. So basically, the question was trying to get a confirmation on what was asked before. Uh, they asked, was the spirit divided? And then remits to the medium's book. No, it's not. It's one spirit, one body, one spirit. And then question 140 asks the same question in a different way because of the movement of the body. And then when we study 141 and 142, we're going to understand that part of the irradiating. So we're going to, let's see here. I think we can do the 141 still, and then we'll leave 142 for next one. Question 141. Is there anything correct in the opinion of those who think that the soul is outside the body and surrounds it? I gave the answer already, right? It was a spoiler. The soul is not enclosed in the body like a caged bird. So if you think of the body as a cage and the soul as a little bird inside, that's not what it is. I used the word already. Rather, it radiates and manifests outside of it like a light shining from a glass globe. So imagine the lamp and a crystal globe. That's what it is. The light would come through. Or a sound vibrating out from a sonorous center. So, in a certain sense, it may be said that it is outside the body, but is not an envelope of the body. So, the soul radiates like the light, not like a bird stuck in a cage. So, that concept is very important for us to understand that. And then it's going to talk about the perispirit and the physical body. The soul has two envelopes. The first is light and subtle. We know which one that is, right? The perispirit, which we call the perispirit. The other is dense, material, and heavy, which is the body, which depends on the nature of the planet or the nature of the world that the spirit is getting a body. We are very dense. We are very material and very heavy. But in different worlds, it wouldn't be like that. But still, two envelopes. The first is the perispirit, light and subtle, and the other is dense, material, and heavy, which is the body. The soul is the center of these two envelopes, like a nut is in its shell, as we have already said, right? I was about to say that. We studied that last class about the perispirit. Um, 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 the word I'm not going to forget anymore in English, rind, as the rind in a fruit. And we are so grateful to everything that we can learn studying the Spirit's book. It brings us further in our progress as spirits. It will make it so much easier for us when we wake up on the other side, on the true life, because this is just temporary. And we understand. And we get there and start working and start being productive because we know life continues. Death is an illusion. Life continues. We all, in reality, are spirits. True life is the life of spirit. But let's enjoy and take good care of this physical body that was given to us exactly the way we needed it to be. Taking good care of it so we can work better, so we can serve our purpose in life. That's what it is. So next class, we're going to continue and let's pray. And if you didn't have a chance to write the name of whoever needs a prayer, we know that a lot of people are fighting disease right now. We're going to pray for them. And let's start with this right away. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us together and having us connected in such a wonderful energy. The energy of light and love, the energy of healing. Be with us, Lord, through the days that follow. Protect us. We trust and love you. And may we learn to love ourselves and our neighbors more, better. And may all the ones that need the comfort of your love receive that right now. Be with us, Lord. And with your permission, we end the study, the meeting of tonight. So be it. We will continue praying. We will continue studying. And I thank you all for being together. And may God bless us all. We'll see you. Well, on Sunday, we have at 12 our study in Portuguese, and on Tuesday as well. And I'll see you here for English study of the Spirit's book. Be well.